Hello, hello.
Hi.
Here Good we to are. See you, Kathy. Okay. How are you?
You shouldn't be so happy because this movie looks very intense, I think.
Well,
I mean, I haven't seen the trailer yet, but just knowing the topic, it seems like it's going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is a film called The Kashmir Files, and it's opening March 11th. It's a Hindi language film that was written and directed by Vivek Agnihotri, and it stars, Pallavi Joshi, and it is, among other people, and it looks like a very serious film about a serious topic. In 1990, there was a genocide, Kashmiri genocide, 31 years ago, and saying close to 500,000 people were killed. And so this is a story that kind of explains that to people like us who don't know much about it or haven't heard much about it.
It's also starring Anupam Kher. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he's familiar to American audiences. He was on a show called New Amsterdam for a few years.
Okay.
He eventually left the show on his own accord, probably to make good films like this. So
yes,
yeah, they killed him off.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So it's about the genocide of the Kashmiri Hindus in 1990.
Okay.
So due to an insurgency. So, and obviously very serious topic, very serious film, garnering excellent reviews. So we're interested in seeing the trailer for it.
All right. So you ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23 आप पर एक इल्जाम है कि आपने ढेर सारे कश्मीरी पंडितों की जान ली है जी कितने लोगों को मारा होगा 20 25 अगर वो आपसे कहते कि अपने सगे भाई को मार दो तो मार देते और आपसे आपकी मां को मारने के लिए कहते तो मार देते
उसके सामने हम अपनी माजी की कोई बात नहीं करेंगे
मतलब नो मेंशन ऑफ एक्सोडस नो एक्सोडस नहीं जेनोसाइड
देखो कौन है कृष्णा
रात तक कश्मीर छोड़ कर जाने को कहा
हमारे लोग मर रहे हैं
कश्मीर चल रहा है खुलेआम कश्मीरी हिंदुओं का कत्ले आम हो रहा है
पंडितों को किसी ने नहीं भगाया वो खुद भागे गवर्नर से मिल गए
जहाँ शिव सरस्वती ऋषि कश्यप हुए वो कश्मीर हमारा था जहाँ पंचतंत्र लिखा गया वो कश्मीर हमारा था तू जानता ही क्या है कश्मीर के बारे में
Kashmir has never been an integral part of India and this is a historical fact Kashmir
चलो अपना धर्म बदलो भागो क्या मर जाओ
कश्मीर के मसले का एक ही हल
एक ही आवाज बुलंद होगी बचाव करेगा देश की तकदीर वही बदल सकता है जिसके पास ये पावर है पॉलिटिकल पावर
पॉलिटिक्स का बस एक ही अंत विनाश
मौत के डर से मैं भी कायर बन जाऊं और मुझ पर फटा था तुम पर नहीं पद्मश्री मुझे ऐसे ही नहीं मिला
ना पद्मश्री आपको सरकार ने खामोश रहने के लिए दिया
आजादी इज अ सॉन्ग ऑफ टेररिज्म
इट्स एन एंथम ऑफ फ्री कश्मीर एक्टली लाइक जनगण मन ऑफ इंडिया
जब मासूम लड़कों को गाड़ी से बांध कर घसीटा जाएगा और उन पर रेप चार्जेस लगाए जाएंगे ये सताए हुए लोग गंजे उठाएंगे सर
कश्मीरी पंडितों ने तो कभी कोई बंदूक नहीं उठाई
And we'll never allow Kashmir to be an integral part of this country. चाहे उसके लिए आग क्यों न लगानी पड़े. This is the time for justice, Krishna.
लेकिन क्या कश्मीरी पंडितों को वापस अपने घर कश्मीर जाने का मौका मिलेगा? Is this justice?
Okay.
Wow.
That looks
Well,
really intense. Okay.
Well, you know, one of the taglines or audience reactions was brutally honest, and if
Yeah.
just from that trailer, that obviously seems like what you're getting is, you know, the brutality of what happened.
Yeah.
And to people like us who don't know a lot about it, it's you know, it's always shocking to see that stuff. We know this stuff happens throughout the world, you know, and you know, and this happened 31 years ago. I don't know much about it. So
Yeah.
it'll be fascinating to watch it, but also obviously a harrowing experience. This is something that is, you know, serious stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those films that I feel like you get down inside of a terrible event that's this huge event that you can't really personalize, and you don't understand the small stories that go on inside of this huge story. So I like that they're personalizing it. They're going into the protesting. They're going into the politics. And then they're also, it looks like they're isolating certain people and certain stories, so you're going to relate to these people and the pain and the uncertainty and all the terrible things they're having to go through, instead of just reading a headline and going, oh, looks like their bad thing happened in Kashmir. Oh well. And then you find out it's not just a bad thing. It's just this horrific emotional tragedy. And so sometimes you need films like this to remind you about that, I think.
Of what happened. You don't want to forget, you know, history. You don't want to repeat history. You don't want things like that to happen.
Yeah.
And of course, when you talk about, you know, numbers, you know, whatever the number is, 500,000, you know, obviously every death affects so many more people, and on and on and on and on. So when you talk about one or two, you have small stories, you just in your head, you try to fathom what that is times as many people that actually did die and were affected by this. So, you know, it's but it looks incredibly well made.
Yes,
and,
it looks. We talk about just the tech of the trailer of, you know, these epic landscapes, these big cities, these big overview, almost like drone shots. The going from big and then almost like diving into the cities and just isolating into like a family around a table, or a little child hiding behind, you know, looking through fences at, you know, soldiers. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff that when you see that, you're like, okay, I know these tropes. And then you realize what it's based on a true story. This isn't just like, oh, war movie. It's like they're talking about real people, real stories, real. So yeah, it looks especially affecting because of that, I think. So this is going to be a not only an eye-opening film, you know, based on the events, which, you know, I'd like to know more about. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster, I'm sure.
Well, like the film that we saw, you know, did a review on Sardar Udham, which was something that, you know, another tragedy that happened, you know, about 100 years ago. It's just, you know, again, it talks about small stories, a few different people and affected by this thing, and you just multiply it out. So it's going to, it has that vibe that it's going to be like a true to life. This is what happened. And we're not going to, you know, we're not going to turn the camera away from stuff that happened. You're going to see some of the really horrific scenes and stuff that happened. So, do we have any posters?
We have some posters. We have this, which is the actor who was on New Amsterdam. He looks like he had his face painted a lot in this film. I don't know what the significance of that was. Maybe someone in the comments can tell us what that is. But it looked, you know, they're giving you the, you know, ripped from the headlines look. We have, you know, the barbed wire aspect. We have the super gritty, you know, cement top, you know, copy line block. We have the really cool tones. You know, looks very you know, realistic and dramatic. You know, the red type. The palette's very subdued, you know, showing us all desaturated. And then we have like another version. Sorry, it's a kind of a weird crop of this one, but we have the, you know, obviously he's one of the protesters. He's one of the protesters. I don't know exactly who it's based on yet because I haven't seen the film. But this is one of the guys who looks like he's trying to make things right. Or wrong. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it. But it's the same. This is a classic character series where they probably have other ones too of a different character put into the blue tone box underneath the barbed wire and the copy line with the graffiti. So I mean, it's a really it looks like a really good campaign for a very gritty, true story, down to earth kind of, you know, war you know, type film. I think that's what the audience we're kind of appealing to, is that sort of audience. So yeah, it looks It looks
A
intense.
very serious posters for a serious movie. I
Yeah.
mean, this is, stuff that will be highly emotional to the people that go see it. And I've seen films like that too, where you just, you walk out of the theater and just the subject matter is, makes you think. You kind of come out with a different headspace, which is the point of the film. You don't want to forget these things. They happened.
No. Sometimes you have to see a movie about it to remind you, get it personal for you. Yeah,
because we are so forward thinking. What's the next thing? Anyway, listen, it's that's the Kashmir Files coming March 11th.
Yes.
I know the band. I think the poster said January, but it was probably pushed back for
it's pushed back.
COVID.
As is everything. Don't look at any of these posters or any of these things with due dates, because that is never going to be right.
Right. Yeah. And if anybody out there wants to tell us more about, the background of the story or your thoughts, please, comment on on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, we really appreciate if you do that, and watch our other stuff, because we do all kinds of movies on Cinemondo for sure.
See you next time.
That was really interesting. So yes, see you next time.
I know, I'm kind of I want to see it, but I'm scared.
I know.
Ooh.
I'll watch it.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
We'll watch it.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.